he's feeling better and try to get
I
his
don't think he'll
story?
be out tonight.
Oh, I didn't think it would be tonight.
No, probably tomorrow. You gonna be around?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Well, that whole thing with the story you guys were telling me about the KKK at the AA meeting, um, like I told him, every time I tell him, he's like, yeah, you can record it. And then he starts talking. I don't get an opportunity to pull out my device, so
Yeah,
it
but
makes it complicated.
there should be AA official people. They
Yeah,
announce it at a meeting as a meeting, and it's not. So they shouldn't be allowed to call it an AA meeting when it's not. It's not an AA meeting. Do you think?
I agree. And when he falls down, it's definitely wrong for the paramedics to
Oh, they
friggin'
laughed
laugh
in the
at him.
parking lady. I said, you heard about that. And I said, and they laughed. They said they got reprimanded for that. It was like 6 of them. I said, good. I told him, I said, he got hurt in 2011. His expedition would cast iron skeleton, 5 adults. So he has cracks in his skull, and the brain matter came through. And he fell again in March, and it cracked it, and brain matter came, and he was dead for 4 minutes. So now his walking is funny. His nerves, he's different. So
Yes,
it's a
ma'am.
lot of stress to keep his spirits up, and and now I don't know if he can work, but we have crafts who can sit at home and do that. He can do that. So we'll see. But we got to get a home. A car is not a life.
I agree.
But
You're constantly being harassed for having the car. There's stuff that you can do if you don't have the car that people might consider freedom. But then again, there's also the fact that without the car, you lose everything that you've got, everything you've worked for.
right,
And the car is what helps you to make the money to actually become unhomeless.
right. We'll get through it. I'm a tough cookie. I just am so determined. It makes me mad. I've worked a long time, and I don't like people that kick us down and that. He's real tender-hearted. His ex did that to him. He didn't ask to be beat in the head.
I agree.
So it's like,
Nobody asks to be abused.
yeah, it's weird.
I do.
And she told her kids, their grown boys were like 30, and she told them to kill him. And he pretended he was dead, and he rallied back and got a boat and got out of there. But he lost his home. Everything was his. She burned his secret. He had a carbon shed. He had a long-term business. He had chainsaws and lawnmowers. I mean, everything. He lost everything. His pets, except he had a truck, and then somebody rear-ended him and it got towed 2 weeks later. So I think and they had questions after the bills. And that hit his head some more. He had more AIDS. He went to the hospital and nursing. And then when the first meeting, he walked like this. He walked like this. And his buddy, the manager, they were like brothers. When he told me, he was laughing. I said, it's not funny. His bosses wouldn't let him work because his balance,
His equilibrium, yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt pretty bad.
Well, let him know. I'm gonna try to sell the kayak. My phone is gonna be off tomorrow, so it'll be difficult to get his story if I'm not able to get the money to get my phone on and keep my insurance. I know that he was expressing the want to do that, but he was wanting to go take a nap first, and then after
Yesterday?
that was like 3 days ago.
Yeah, he hasn't been feeling good. And then the stress, and then this one gal, he mowed her lawn, he weeded, and now, because he does swear, and it gets loud. But that's part of a head injury too.
It is.
It's like,
Not with every head injury, but a
No,
few
but-
of them for certain, especially when you got migraines like that.
his never go away. Never. He wakes up with a low-key headache, but by night it's bad.
Yep, same thing with Brandon Ratner. They crushed his skull in with a crowbar. Took him
Draven?
for somebody else.
Draven?
No, this is Brandon
Somebody
Ratner.
up at that other fair, at the bike park? Yeah, because when Lewis got hit, he got hit in the face, but he did get a concussion,
Yes, ma'am. Well, you better get in there and get the food. It's going
Yeah.
to be too late.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I don't know if they are still open or not. Actually, there's a story I was gonna tell about the nice ladies in here when I let them know what was going on. It might only be from
5:30. Oh no, 4 to 5.
4 to 5. Yeah.
Do you have any meals left? I saw somebody just have some.
Well, since they're closed, there's some folks here who are just real good to me. I told them a little bit of my story, and I just thought to myself, if they're still open, I'll go in and ask those ladies if they might be able to go in with me to talk to those officers. However,
It's only like 5.
yes, ma'am.
The other one at Nazarene. But there's another meal at CR, the Nazarene, at 5:30. But he's not. I didn't even tell him I was leaving. I just let him rest.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be back. Anyway, nice to see you.
You too. Thank you.
And don't forget Wednesday, up by the food bank, that meal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, at 4:30. Hopefully we'll see you there.
I hope so. Well, my whole battle plan was, it didn't even occur to me to ask those ladies until I'd already walked out. Bonjour.
Sean, right?
Yes, sir.
I got it right.
Yes, sir.
I have dementia, so learning people's names is not easy.
Yeah, I meet a lot of people because I'm constantly moving, and I was never good with names to begin with. The more stressed I am, the more likely I am to forget people's names.
Yeah.
I forget names and numbers first.
I was in a car wreck. My Trans Am was this wide. Luckily, my wife wasn't with me. The guy pushed me through two lanes. No, see, I was just going this way. Went through 2 lanes, up the curb, clear against the power box against for the freeway or whatever. In a coma for 10 days. Now I come out and I can't remember things. I'm lucky she wasn't with me.
You're right. There'd be none of you.
I can't believe he was going so fast he could do that to my car. I wish I would have took a picture. I have pictures. I just don't know where they are.
That's not something I should be laughing at. Just the way you put that together. That
Oh, you know what? I'm still having fun.
absolutely. I still try to as much as I can.
Me too.
Sometimes people make it difficult. Sometimes it's easier to get away from them than others, but at least there's folks who try to keep lighthearted.
That bamboo makes good pipes.
In Nebraska, we still don't have legal pot, so you have to make your own pipes or you have to smuggle them across the border from Colorado. Right? So as a Nebraskan, I learned how to.
I didn't believe that. Out here, it's legal as hell. You know what's funny? I haven't smoked weed since it's legal.
I turned 21 and stopped drinking because it was no longer fun.
Yeah, I used to drink a beer a day. Today I'm going on my second one. I just opened it, so.
Yes, sir. Well, that's definitely good moderation. I know a lot of people out here that they just can't stop. The moment they wake up, it's about the alcohol until the moment that they pass out. And even in their dream, probably dreaming about drinking.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I usually have one. I used to. Today I'm having 2. But I just got paid, so.
Absolutely. That's I was getting my disability money, but because of my disabilities, I need help in order to keep up with all that stuff. I can't manage it. But
I believe all the paperwork.
right? And then they want to force you to do that from out here. And when you don't have an income, like they took my disability income away because I didn't have assistance in keeping it. I'm like, I'm still disabled. I was born with autism. I was born with Tourette syndrome. And my back injuries, they're not going to go away in my lifetime. You know, that's
Yeah, I
not
just hurt
something that
my back. And
fixes.
it's miserable.
And it'll drive you crazy. Well, maybe not you, but most people it'll drive crazy. Like having back pain, not being able to do stuff for yourself. But people can't see that your back is fucked up, so they want to tell you to do stuff for yourself that you're not capable of doing.
You know what I find hard? It's going up and down the curve.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. And I explain that on my YouTube channel all the time. Like getting up and down a
It's like
curb. There's no handrail.
you never know when you're gonna fall.
Right? I get the sudden impact thing, like it sends a jolt of lightning up and down my back, and sometimes that'd just fold up my legs under me.
Yeah, that's what I worry about. It's like, okay, I gotta step up there. I gotta step down. Stepping down is worse
Yes.
than stepping up. But
See, I've
I
probably
always
said
try to
that
find.
100 times on my
I
tech
always try to
channel.
find those slopes and sidewalks.
Yup. Yep. And people look at me funny when I do that. Like, man, why are you
I'd
walking
walk
like
down
that?
there, just go up that like that, you know.
Yep. There's some grass over there by the Fred Meyer, and it goes into this little dip. And I try going through there just because I want to be adventurous and keep myself limber. And no, at the end of that, I'm like, I stepped over one ditch, and no, I'm not doing that
You about
again.
killed yourself, huh? You're
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, you will. You'll fall.
Plus, you'll smush into the mush over there, like that far. That's just the one ditch over there. It's just this side of the you know, the Starbucks and the Denny's there, and there's the bank across the way. The ditch right next to that bank is really soft in it.
Why do you go there? I'm just curious.
Well, I just tried it the once because I wanted I'm like, you know what? I can be adventurous. It's a slope, so I figured I could handle it. It's not a slope because once you step to the middle of it, your foot sinks in 6 to 8 inches.
That's not
No,
good.
that hurt like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's my right now. My back is so fucking sore. I don't know what I did to it, but
Well,
it's like
thank
I
goodness you're in Oregon. You go tell them you're in pain, they'll feed you some opiates.
feel like I'm kicked by a horse. And now it's gone down into my.
I've been kicked by a horse, and my back pain doesn't come anywhere near that, but my back pain is absolutely debilitating.
Yeah, I've been kicked by a horse too. I had 12 of them.
Whoa. I got kicked in the stomach. I had a dish on my tummy for friggin' ever. If that horse would have kicked me just an inch and a half higher, I'd be dead. It would have crushed my ribs and poked them right into my lungs and my heart.
Yeah, I've been kicked in the leg. Man, I beat the shit out of that horse.
Well, I was over by Longmont, and the road is up here, and then there's a dip, and then it goes up to the field, and there's the barbed wire, and the horse has got his backside to the barbed wire, and I figured, you know, I'll go up there and pet the horse, you know.
Did he bite you?
No, he didn't. His backside was to the fence. He kicked me through the barbed wire, and I woke up on the. I don't know if I was like passed out, or if he just knocked everything friggin'
Silly, huh?
yeah. Because I mean, it was. I woke up on the actual highway there. I'm like, oh my God, and I still couldn't get my breath.
No, that can kill you.
You know. Yeah, so I'm not going to say it felt like getting kicked by a horse because my back isn't like that, but that jolt of lightning is, well, the only difference between the jolt of the lightning and the getting kicked by a horse is that that's long-term oxygen deprivation, and that is pure fear. When you're choking to death, when you literally can't breathe.
You got nailed by lightning.
No, I didn't get nailed by lightning, but the pain from stepping up and down off of curbs, it feels like lightning going all the way up to my head and down to my toes and back.
Yeah, I just worry about falling because it's so hard to do, especially when your back's all fucked up and it's gone clear down to your.
Yeah. And that's one of the things about the nerves on the right hand side are really weird on me because, like, all right, over here, it's like a numb pain on the lower part, but on the right hand side, it's like, it almost feels like, if you hold ice for too long or you're wearing gloves and you go to,
You can't feel your hand.
no, where it hurts a whole bunch because it's that cold. It kind of feels like there's a hole in my back here that's got an ice cube in it that is friggin' freezing to the point of it being painful. But obviously there's no hole and there's no ice cube. It's just nerves. They're just fucking with me, like having ghost pain, except it's not a toe that's missing that I feel that itches. It's not like my leg is itching and I can feel my toe and just can't scratch it. It's obviously there's skin there, nothing's been removed, it's just pain. So they were discussing options with me, like different options for it, but we hadn't gone into it all that far. It was just a lady named Candace Bondurant explaining, because she was the receptionist for my doctor. And she was also a friend of mine, and I was staying with her at the time. So she was supposed to bring my paperwork home. She never did. Supposed to, yeah. See, that's the problem with having to depend on other people and other people giving you their word. People are full of shit.
Especially women.
I have noticed that we have taught women to be especially dishonest here, which is why when I run into a woman who's more honest than most, I am fucking ecstatic. When I run into a man who's more honest than most, I'm ecstatic too, though. Although I do expect more honesty out of a man.
How you like your shoes?
You know what? For free, they're badass. The fact that they're Nike makes me feel spoiled.
We did that corporation. I'm a cabinet maker, shipwright. $50.7 million worth of cabinets, tables, and stuff went in there.
I remember when
That's a
they
lot of money.
when they first got all big in the 90s, like everybody had to have the Air Jordans.
Oh, yeah,
People
the
were
old
getting killed over
Jordans.
them. Yeah.
Whatever happened to him? He's still alive, I wonder.
Yeah. He makes a lot of money off of exploiting black people.
What's that?
I said he makes a lot of money off of exploiting black people.
I believe
Right.
you.
But yeah, see, that's one of the things with most of my friends that have been murdered. A lot of them were murdered by men, but most of it was over women. Most of it was over women's drama or a woman who didn't get what she wanted. She wanted Jason Momoa, and instead, Danny DeVito's over there flirting with her.
Danny DeVito. You mean this guy this high?
Yeah, so I know a lot of people who are dead because of women who didn't want to
I
be
know a
honest.
lot of people with my friends are dead from this.
Heroin, yep. Me too. But
And that's
that's
really sad because they were my best friends. Glad I never got into that shit.
well, my friends did, and I never did. I've never tried heroin, but I grew up in the
I've
system.
never
They
shot
gave us
myself up
opiates.
once.
Me either.
I looked at that, how they would go up.
That's not true. There's one time where I had the balls to inject myself. I injected myself with 2 months worth of insulin, hoping to kill myself.
It worked.
No, no. I got like 4,000 degrees. I felt super hot, like really hot, and I had to eat something. So I went down with a whole bunch of change, and I spent it, and I stole this change from my Aunt Mary, by the way. I was trying to kill myself at my Aunt Mary's with my Aunt Mary's insulin.
Your what?
I was trying to kill myself at my Aunt Mary's with my Aunt Mary's insulin, and it didn't work. But
Oh, good.
see, when I was 4,000 degrees, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to handle this. And I wanted candy so bad. So I stole that change. And although most of it came from me, I still feel bad for it. But I went
You're
down. No, I got her a lottery ticket. It was $100 winner, though. Anyway,
Can't beat that, huh?
you can actually. I got me one too. So the thing is, after eating all of that candy, and I didn't eat all of it, like I literally woke up 3 days later. I don't remember anything for 3 days after trying to,
I can understand that.
but it didn't kill me. I was told if you take twice the amount that somebody who's diabetic takes, it'll kill you. nobody bothered to tell me that's if you're diabetic. I'm not.
Well, I better get in there before she has a cow.
Yes, sir. Be safe. And thank you for the conversation.
Take care, Sean.
You too. What was your name again?
Larry.
Larry.
That's my wife, Sharon.
Larry and Sharon. I will forget that, but as long as I use it, I'll try to remember it. I
Try
just
to remember it too. I see you and I go, that's one of my best friends now.
yes, sir. Well, be safe. And thanks for having me.
You take care, buddy.
Yes, sir. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna get down to the park and be there until about 10 o'clock. This is way out of Molly range. It's also in a residential area where people will make a big stink about you parking somewhere. Those folks are locals, and even they are having issues with the parking. Otter, he's in like one or two of my videos. Otter is the guy that she was talking about. As far as going to an AA meeting and walking into a Klan meeting instead, yeah, that does happen. Chapel, Nebraska, my first day in Chapel, Nebraska, I went to Pumpkin Pantry, and there were some guys there that were telling me that they were in the KKK. Well, come Sunday, I walk into the Chapel Assembly of God, and there's two ushers who had told me that they were in the KKK. Yeah, so Klan meetings at church, I can believe it. The idea that only half the congregation is involved, well, I'd like to believe that, but I'm pretty sure that it's a much higher ratio than that. Now, this is supposed to be an AA meeting, so that's not a church assembly. This is actually put on by different people, although there would be church members. Oh, shit. I forgot I was that close to the curb. Oh, my God. All right, there we go. And then we can turn the tires the other way and put it in reverse. Anyway, I suppose I should tell you the story about the folks here. So they work at one of the establishments here in town, and told me to come see them. Yes, sort of. I guess sort of. Is because they give me $5 and told me to go spend it where they work. So perhaps tomorrow, we'll see. I got the $5 in my pocket. But I let them know what I do. I let them know it had happened outside and that I was just recording just to make sure. And they said if there was a problem to let them know, because they got a main line to the sheriff's department, which is helpful. So I walked out of the building and it didn't register till I walked out of the building that, hey, this could be a potential opportunity to actually get help from the cops, for them not to be standoffish, for them to actually take it seriously. One of the things with church folks is I find it hard to trust them, because a lot of times they say that they'll help and then they want you to blah 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 to the glory of the Lord and so on and so forth. Well, alright, no. The thing I liked about Jesus, the Jew, that's right, he was Jewish. He did not follow his religion at all. Although he really did. It all depends on perspective. Like the Jewish law. By Jewish law, yes, he did something wrong by intervening when a woman was sentenced to be stoned to death. Well, you ain't allowed to do that in Jewish law. Then again, you ain't allowed to stone anybody to death anywhere except for the women's court. And that's in the tabernacle. And the tabernacle is under the control of the Romans. And the Romans hold their own courts. The court of women was not used for holding court for women any longer. It was used as a market and a gambling pit. That was part of the issue, again, when we start getting into the Jewish revolt of 79 AD. I mean, that's a lot of fucking killing. Anyway, since they do have a connection to the sheriff's department, that might be a good place to start. If we can get it started off on the right foot and keep these people paying attention to this as if I am a person that does matter instead of getting bored and doing whatever. I need their complete and undivided attention, and I need them to not be digging for excuses why it's okay and interrupting me. And there's a possibility, since the sheriff's department here hasn't been involved in any screwy bullshit, and the sheriff's department in the Dalles has not been involved in screwy bullshit, I have left myself open the option of 2 law enforcement agencies that it is definitely possible to speak with. So, sometimes people get a good connection as far as law enforcement goes. However, people that are church folks, volunteering, have houses, are women, and there's 3 of them, yes, very much so, wholeheartedly so, they are going to be heard. Anyway, so I let them know about the thing outside and explained to them that I wouldn't usually record in a situation like that, but as you guys know, just like with the situation with Jamie, when that got violent, I started recording. When it looked like violence was imminent, I started recording. I mean, that screaming, I recorded a lot of that just because, I mean, Jamie is at risk, and they kept on screaming that they were going to fucking do all sorts of mean shit. When you want to fucking beat on an at-risk fucking adult and then tell me to mind my business, that is my business. I am an at-risk adult. See your way the fuck out of it. You want to call her family? No, assaulting family is not okay, especially when it creates an unsafe situation for every other homeless person there. The Dalles fucking sucked. And I have no doubts that if I have to go to the sheriff's department there, that I'll get the same treatment as everywhere else in the country. But only if I go alone. The reason for leaving that one law enforcement agency in that area is because, yes, I do have to turn it into a law enforcement agency in that area. As Michael was talking about with the DOJ, that's the Department of Justice, just so you know. But who is it within the Department of Justice that gets turned into? Why is it that they make it so impossible for the victims of police violence to gain access? Why is it that they get to threaten, harass, and intimidate homeless victims to prevent homeless victims from getting these things done? The thing about the last 3 weeks is that it's not okay to be a good person. The observation has been made by almost every woman out here and almost every man out here that most of this bullshit is coming from women. Women who don't feel that they should be held accountable. But the thing is that not all the predators are women. A lot of these women, they use men to be their predators. They're not gonna fucking assault you. They're gonna have a man do it for them. Oh, poor me, I'm just a girl. Let me jerk out a couple of tears and you go fuck them up. And that is really, truly the way that it actually is. So that guy earlier saying, you know, what he did about women, I can understand his point of view. I understand the perspective, and I do see it very much and very heavy and very prevalent. But also, I'm not going to hold to some belief, some fucking mismatched, long forgotten fucking Christian rhetoric bullshit about women being inferior, because they're not. Or about how women are the original sin, because they're not. Or about how women are just naturally sinful, because they're not. Or how, of course, we've got to go into the metaphors now, don't we? The story of Helena Troy, and also the story of Adam and Eve, is the story of putting it onto women. It's women's fault, right? Well, there's a reason for that as well. The reason that the Greeks took, yes, women at one point in time in Greek society held all of the highest offices. It was a much smaller society at that point in time, and it did not start in Athens. But women had the rights taken away because there were so many women who were taught to be a certain way. They were taught that they were different, that they were greater, that they were better. And we go back and forth, waxing and waning who it is that looks like they're winning. Who's better, men or women? I say neither. But society says different. A lot of people who speak out about these bias, they still show those bias. People who say, you know, I think that men should have the same opportunities as women as far as when they're victimized. They shouldn't be treated any different, but then they are. They absolutely are. And this is such an incredibly fucked up situation that, well, everybody who's looked at it has gone, well, who's really looked at it? People get overwhelmed just looking at a little bit of it. Being able to show my situation and my evidence will change laws. It'll change protocols. It'll change safety and production procedures. We are a people. We are our only people. If you're a black homeless man, you can go ahead and play that race card all you want, but the black community don't give a shit about you, you're homeless. I'll look out for you. But you're going to be thugging it, you're going to be on your own real quick, fast, and in a fucking hurry. We got until 10 o'clock here. My phone is going to be off tomorrow. I don't have any way to make the money. I am actually disabled. And my predators have taken advantage of this for 6 fucking years. I have to be able to clear my name of the fucking slander. I need to be able to show the evidence that I was illegally prevented from showing in every one of my fucking court dates because they called me mentally ill. They railroaded me in fucking kangaroo court like they do to homeless. But you, the American public, you deserve to be shot in the head, every single one of you, for allowing this, not just to me. You want free shit when you're injured. You already have free shit. You've got a fucking family that'll wipe your ass after you break your leg. But you want to pass judgment on us like we're the fucking pieces of shit. Like our injuries are fucking fake. They must be because we're homeless. We must be fucking junkies. Fuck you. The situation with Molly got serious 3 fucking weeks ago. Me being afraid to talk to the cops here is based on the demeanor of the cops. Based on the things that the cops said. That absolutely shows me that I was right. Yes, 100% of the time when a disabled homeless male is being victimized, 100% of the time they need someone there in person who fucking gives a shit. Not some fucking twat who's gonna go out of her way not to look at evidence. If we have to do it over the phone, I gotta be able to go somewhere to actually get the information that you want. But you know what? By that point, I got tired of fucking trying to explain the same thing over and fucking over again. Claire messaged me. She was pretty apologetic. I let her know that my phone's gonna be off tomorrow and then I'll be fucked. Life is grand with your head in the sand unless you're afraid of the dark, and I've got a plan starring Iron Man with me instead of Tony Stark. You guys want to think I'm crazy for saying that? I just like it because it's cute. It rhymes. I told you I'm a linguistic mastermind. You don't have to agree with me. I don't expect you to agree with me. And I'm not going to force you to agree with me, because if I'm forcing you to agree with me, you don't actually agree with me. Common sense? Common sense. So, I guess maybe tomorrow I'll go see if those ladies are there, and I'll ask them if there's any way the 3 of them might be able to possibly help me with this. I'm sure they probably know a few people in town because of where they work. And also where they volunteer. I think they would be excellent folks for helping to get our voices out. If there's somebody who can be a community liaison that actually has a house, that makes so much difference. Anyway, good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.